modes of nature. That's what is very important. So we understand from Bhagavad Gita that we are controlled. So that is for sure, we know that. But how we can come out of this control? How we can get out of this control? So that's a very important question now. So that's what Krishna is teaching us. At the end of this chapter, Krishna teaches us very clearly that just by engaging in Krishna's devotional service, we will be freed from the modes of nature. That's it. And once we are freed from the modes of nature, how we behave, that also is very clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita. So that way, everything is very nicely explained. Even in the second chapter also, how a person who has achieved the Sthita Prajna, who has achieved steady intelligence, so how that person behaves, that also very clearly explained. So that's what is this Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya kesava sthitati kim prabhashetam kim ashita brajeta kim. So we studied, we understood. So how is Sthita Prajna? What is his language? How does he what does he speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? All such things Arjuna asked and Krishna explained in detail. So like this, these various qualities of a person who is freed from the modes of nature, who has achieved the Sthita Prajna status, steady intelligence, and who has got divine nature, divine qualities, and what is knowledge. So everything Krishna is explaining very, very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, and our goal should be to meet all these qualifications. That's what is very important, to achieve all these qualities. That should be the goal of our life. So it's very easy. It's very easy. Once we study and understand all this knowledge, and we can easily test. We can easily test if we qualify, if we have achieved that quality or not. We can easily test. Just by studying this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we need to understand it fully, completely. So then, first of all, if we surrender unto Krishna, if we start serving Krishna with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when we develop that love towards Krishna, understanding, realizing that Krishna is our Supreme Lord, so then all these qualities will come to us naturally. That's what is very important. We will gain all these qualities. Once we study this Bhagavad Gita, that's what is very important. When we study this Bhagavad Gita, understand this Bhagavad Gita, then we will gain all these qualities naturally. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, that's going to happen. So Krishna's mercy, it is happening actually. So Krishna is actually teaching us in this Bhagavad Gita how to actually serve him, basically, how to gain the intelligence, how to gain the knowledge, because the knowledge is coming from Krishna, intelligence is coming from Krishna, so everything is coming from Krishna, but how we can receive it, that is the main thing, because we should be qualified enough to receive it. That's what is very important. That is Krishna's mercy. So when we receive Krishna's mercy, then we will gain the knowledge, we will gain the intelligence, so everything. So that's why we need to receive it. So for that we need to get Krishna's mercy. So that is possible only by thinking about Krishna. So only by focusing our thoughts on Krishna. So all these qualities will come to us. That's it. All these qualities, everything will come to us. Machittaga sarva durgani. That's what. We need to think about Krishna all the time. So that's why in the 6th chapter we studied at length about the Dhyana Yoga, about how to control our mind, how to focus our thoughts on Krishna. All such things we studied at length in the 6th chapter, in the Dhyana Yoga. So with that knowledge, if we are able to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day, if we are able to plan our life in such a way that we can find time every day to chant Hare Krishna and focus our mind on Krishna, so then we will gain that knowledge, we will gain that intelligence, everything comes to us. So this thing, in order to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we don't need anything at this point of time. We simply need faith. As in the beginning I said, every one of us are controlled by the modes of nature. There is no doubt about it. We are all controlled by these 3 modes of material nature. So now, in order to free ourselves from the modes of nature, we just have to sit and chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's it. If we chant Hare Krishna, then we will be happy. That's what chant and be happy. Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and be happy. So for that we just need the faith on Krishna. and just knowing this procedure, this process about how to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So sit straight, don't look at any other directions, and simply focus on the transcendental sound vibration. That's what we are supposed to do by chanting Krishna's name, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply focus our mind on that transcendental sound vibration. So when we do that, so then we will be able to remember Krishna. Then we will be able to achieve everything else. The knowledge, intelligence, and everything, yoga kshemam, everything is going to come to us. So this knowledge, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, as soon as we start receiving this knowledge, as soon as we understand that chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very important, so we can simply sit and chant Hare Krishna every day. So that way, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge and following the instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita as it is exactly. So these are the only means we can actually free ourselves from this material bondage. There are so many planets, there are so many, innumerable, billions. Billions, it's billions means it can go even above billions, trillions, all those things. Based upon our knowledge, with our scientific inventions, whatever we can see in the space, the unlimited, infinite space. So we are able to only say that there are billions of planetary systems, billions of galaxies actually, billions of galaxies, and each galaxy has got billions of solar systems, and each solar system has got several planets, and each planet also has got several moons. See how complicated this solar system, this universe is. So the galaxy itself is, there are so many galaxies, not one galaxy or two galaxies, there are billions of galaxies. So our galaxy is the Milky Way galaxy. So there are billions of galaxies. And in each galaxy, there are billions of solar systems. So that means there are billions of suns. And in each solar system, there are billions of, not billions, of course, there are many planets. There are several planets. And each planet also has got many moons, several moons. Only Earth has got only one moon, but other planets have got even many moons. So that way, in this, we can take birth in any planet, anywhere. All are material things. What we are seeing is here, everything is material universe. So material universe itself is so huge, then what to think about the spiritual world, Krishna's spiritual world, that will be even beyond imagination. So we need to go there. That's what is the very important thing. So if you don't follow this Bhagavad Gita, if you don't understand, follow the instructions given by Krishna, so that means we will be simply wasting our life, and we will die and take another birth and go to some other planet and live there, and again we don't have to really go invent these rockets, spaceships, and all such things to go to other planet and live there. Just by changing the body, we will go. Even we can come back to the same planet also, same earth also we can come back. So that's what we need to understand. So we are not the body, we are the soul, and the soul is always there. But the problem is the soul is always changing the body. So we are keep on getting the bodies after bodies after bodies, and we are keep on changing our bodies and struggling. And in each body, we are going through the old age, disease, and death. So this is what is our real problems, our real suffering. So we are struggling and suffering in this material way. So understanding this important fact, this scientific fact. So this is what a knowledge. Not understanding all other things, going to universities and paying a lot of money and getting some degrees and all those things. So that they are all not real knowledge actually. So the real knowledge is understanding, realizing that we are not the body, we are the soul, and we are struggling and suffering in this material world, and we need to free ourselves from this material bondage. So this is what is knowledge. We need to get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are getting this knowledge. We are studying and understanding. We are understanding. And just these 18 chapters, 700 slokas, 700 verses are more than enough. Just to get out of this material world, just to get out of this bondage to work, bondage to birth, Janma, Karma Bandha and Janma Bandha. So just this one book, just these 18 chapters, 700 slokas are more than enough. That's it. We don't need anything extra, actually, anything addition, like to get out of this material world. But of course, we want to develop their love towards Krishna. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of Krishna's pastimes, and it gives us so much of happiness. We can relish, we can enjoy. Like people, they go and watch movies and they try to enjoy. They forget themselves. But it is 3 hours of nonsense and struggle, and then enjoyment, so-called material sense enjoyment. Then you come back and again into the normal material world and struggle and suffer. But this kind of Krishna's pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so this week you can make thousands and thousands of movies out of it, Krishna's pastimes. So we should be able to visualize, we should be able to enjoy and relish. So Krishna is a real hero actually. All in the movies, everyone is just acting. So that's why we call them as actors. So actors means they are acting. So they are not real heroes. But Krishna is the superhero. So Krishna is the supreme hero. Krishna is everything. So that's what we need to understand. So we need to merge in Krishna consciousness by knowing about his pastimes, by reading through the Srimad Bhagavatam when we have time, and understanding about Krishna's, especially the 10th canto. So 90 chapters, all about Krishna only. Even other cantos also, everywhere, starting from the first canto itself, all the devotees are glorifying Krishna only. So Krishna is glorified all the time. So whenever we glorify Krishna, whenever we think about Krishna, we are going to be enjoying. That's it. We will achieve happiness. So that's why Krishna said in the 10th chapter, Machitta Matgata Prana Bodayantaga Parasparam. Kadayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanticha Ramanticha. That's what Krishna said. So in the 10th chapter, Krishna said it very clearly in the 9th sloka. So Machitta Madgata Prana. So by thinking about me, by dedicating their lives unto me, by conversing about me, Kadayantaga Parasparam, Bodayantaga Parasparam, Kadayantascha Mam Nityam. So that's what should bring us happiness. So we should find our time to study more about Krishna, read more about Krishna's pastimes, and find enjoyment, happiness in that. So that is the real happiness, that is the real enjoyment. So that kind of enjoyment will take us to Krishna. We will be always in Krishna consciousness. So that way, this Bhagavad Gita and then Srimad Bhagavatam, they both are very important. So with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we know that all the philosophy, all the science, what we need, we get it from Bhagavad Gita. We understand. Krishna teaches us very clearly, we are the soul, we are not the body. So that's what he first, in the very beginning, he told Arjuna that you are speaking like a learned person, but you don't know anything, because a learned person should learn neither for the living nor for the dead, because a learned person will only always see the soul. He will be able to only see the soul. Pandita Samadarshinaga. So that's why Gatasun Agatasumsa Nanu Sochanti Pandita. So for us to be a Pandita, we need to have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and act according to Bhagavad Gita and do everything as per Krishna's instructions. So then we will be able to always live in the consciousness that we are the soul, we are not the body. So in order to gain all those things, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is needed. So we finished in the 14th chapter, 11 slokas. So Krishna taught us until now about the three modes of nature, the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, how they are produced. And also we understood that this mode of goodness binds one to happiness, and the mode of passion binds one to karma, that is work, bondage to work. And then the mode of ignorance binds one to madness, laziness, indolence, all such things we studied. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajaka karmani bharata jnanam avrityatu tamaga pramade sanjayatyuta. And sometimes the mode of goodness is predominant, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. Sometimes the mode of passion, sometimes the mode of ignorance becomes predominant. So rajas tamas chabibhuyaga sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamas chaiva tamas sattvam rajas tat. So that's what Krishna is teaching. So we need to understand it. And then in the 11th sloka, what we studied last class, Krishna taught us that sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasaka upajayate jnanam tada jnanam yada tada vidya vivirtam sattvam nityuta. So the mode of goodness is illuminating. So all the gates of our body, sarvadvareshu degesmin prakasaka upajayate. So that's why it will increase. So it will increase all this when our gates of, when the knowledge of, when the mode of goodness increases, it will eliminate all the gates of our body. So that's why the manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Now in the next sloka, Krishna is continuing in the sloka number 12, what we are studying. Lobhaga pravrittir arambhaga karmanam asammaga spriga rajasi etani jayante vivrde bharatarshaba. Lobhaga pravrittir arambhaga. So lobha means it's greediness. So develops pravriti. So arambhaga. So lobhaga pravritti arambhaga karmanam ashammaga sprigaga. So ashammaga means uncontrollable desire. So that means because of the greediness, the uncontrollable desires, so we will develop so much of attachment to the sense objects. So that's why karmanam means all the activities. So that's why the mode of passion increases. We already studied. So rajaga karmani bharata. So rajoguna binds on to the karma, the work. So that's why here the intense activities, pravritti, arambhagam, so various kinds of endeavors, and then greediness, all such things because of the rajoguna. So rajasietani jayanti. So that's all, they are all developing because of the rajoguna. These are all increasing. So we studied in the previous sloka, the mode of goodness illuminates. So what increases? All our gates of our body will be illuminated by the knowledge. So that's what knowledge increases. That's what knowledge. So that's what we studied in the 11th sloka. There is jnanam yada tada vidyad vivriddham. Jnanam vivriddham. Jnanam vivriddham means the knowledge increases. So that's why the mode of goodness increases the knowledge. Here what vivriddham? Vivriddham means it increases. So what is increasing here? So here it is actually increasing the greediness, and then activities and endeavors and various activities and uncontrollable desires. So all these things are increasing with the mode of passion. So that's why Krishna is teaching us that, O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, that is what karmanam, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. So all these things develop when there is mode of passion. First, again, when the mode of passion will start controlling us, the mode of passion will control us when we are actually thinking about the material sense objects. We already studied about it several times. When we think about the material sense objects, then the mode of passion will develop. Mode of passion. When the mode of passion comes, then all these things will come. Then there is intense desire to gratify the sense objects. So then all kinds of uncontrollable, that's what uncontrollable desire. So that's what will come. So then we will be controlled by the mode of passion, then we are not free. So then we will be forced to act. So that's how everybody in this, especially in this material world, so those who are in the Rajoguna, this earth is mainly very much predominantly controlled by the Rajoguna, this earth. So the heavenly planets are by the mode of goodness, and the earthly planets, the middle level planets, are the mode of passion, and the tamasic planets, the hellish planets, so that is controlled by the mode of ignorance. So that's why here we see people, they are having so much of intense desires to accumulate a lot of things and going after several material sense objects, and they will spend, they will do all kinds of ugra karma because we are controlled by the mode of passion. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished the 12th sloka in the 14th chapter. Hare Krishna. I'll stop now and we'll discuss. I will chant Hare Maha Mantra and then we will discuss questions. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.